Welcome to CineBites, a cinematic culinary podcast where we experience the wonders and beauty of cinema with our eyes and explore the unique and glorious cuisine in those films with our taste buds. Today we're brewing up a cinematic magic as we dive into the timeless Halloween classic, Hocus Pocus. Get ready to create some cinematic spells and savor the flavors of the season as we explore the enchanting connections between film and food in this bewitching tale. So grab your broomsticks and cauldrons and let's embark on a delightful journey into the mystical world of cinema and cuisine. Feast your eyes. Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone. Special.
We got a special.
It is our Halloween episode.
Halloween special.
And we are dressed for the occasion. If you're listening, then you're probably very confused as to what's going on. But if you're viewing, you see that
you see our the
doing
set is different.
Yes.
The set is different.
Yes.
Our clothing is different.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
I usually wear this to bed.
Yeah, I usually wear this on when I'm going out on a nice date.
Yeah,
So,
when you're trying to critique the movie.
Yeah, so if you're watching and you're confused about what my costume is, this was a movie critic costume I found at Target. So
that's their view of him.
This is a movie critic who wears popcorn on his head and wears 3D glasses.
Yep.
And I'm a fancy movie critic. I wear my suit.
You're very professional.
But I didn't think about this costume choice very well because I can't wear these headphones with this popcorn hat. Oh, speaking of, it's literally falling off of me.
And that's the popcorn hat's not attached to 3D glasses, right?
No.
Okay. Well, if it's too much, you can take the popcorn hat off.
I refuse to take the popcorn hat off. Actually, let me try and do headphones on.
Oh, and then popcorn hat on top.
Popcorn hat over the.
Yeah, I think it can work. I think it can work. Okay, I don't think it can work.
It's not gonna work.
I don't think it can work. Wait, almost.
Oh,
close enough.
no, I'm gonna go back to it.
No,
I have to. Commit.
I think you're good. Okay, yeah, it's totally up to you. Whatever's more comfortable.
No, I have to. And then joining me on this cinematic adventure is Fred Flintstone.
Yes, I am Fred Flintstone.
It's actually Fred. They figured out a way. Fred and Barney had a baby, and then Casey came out.
That is me. I am the byproduct.
You look like both of them.
Yeah,
with the costume. But anyway.
So yep.
So we're gonna be talking about Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. I know. Yeah. I mean, you actually said that you haven't seen this movie.
Yep.
Until
this
more
is
recently.
So Rear Window was a new movie for you.
Yeah.
This is a new movie for me. I've never seen Hocus Pocus until last night.
Yeah.
I finished this movie. So
it's fresh on the mind and fresh
on the mind.
And you have fresh opinions about it. Too.
Yeah. Fresh opinions. First opinions.
Yeah. First opinions. Yeah. Yeah.
First opinions. Fresh opinions.
So, and as you can...
This whole thing is disorienting. The 3D glasses might be worse than the hat.
Really?
I really didn't think this through, did I?
It looks good, though. I think it fits the occasion.
Mostly just thought when I saw it, man, that'd be funny if I wore that popcorn hat on the podcast, and it was on sale.
There you go.
So I wonder why.
But you forgot to think of why, or what an hour of wearing that would look like.
Yeah, well... We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. Okay, so we're going to go right into the food, which, as you know, in this movie, if you've seen Hocus Pocus, spoiler alert as well, as always, we're going to talk a lot about the film. But one thing you really see in the movie is the candy, the Halloween candy.
They actually go trick-or-treating.
Yeah, so you don't really actually see food, maybe in some scenes, like party scenes and stuff, but that's it.
Yeah.
So... Our meal, is it okay if I reveal it?
Reveal it.
Our meal is candy.
Candy. We got a big pile of candy.
Yeah, got so much candy. Oh
as
my goodness.
As well as
Did you get a picture of this too?
Not yet because it was all under the thing. Let me get a picture.
Oh, and turn that too.
Let me turn this so we can see it, and I'll even get you in it. Why not? There's not much to see, though, because it's just a big pile of a variety of candies. But the one thing that we do have is a witch's brew.
Yeah.
So at the very end of the movie, whatever the kid's name is,
Max.
I didn't pay that much attention to remember.
Max. Yeah, Max.
I paid attention, but anyway, he drinks the child possessing potion, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
the witch's brew of sorts, and drinks it and sacrifices his life for his sister. And it was green, and so we have a green beverage.
It's actually witch's brew.
It actually is.
That's
We
what
got
it
some
is.
local witches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not really, but
It was a really awkward interaction with them.
yeah.
Once we got that, but
But anyway, it's flashing and it's glowing and it's deadly. It has a skull in the front.
yeah. So let's pour some.
Let's pour some.
Let's drink it.
Oh. We got some witch's brew.
I think anything's
it's
gonna be.
still warm from the
Ooh.
witch.
Oh.
Yeah, it's warm. Not actually. Little trade secret, it is Mountain Dew Zero.
I thought you were gonna tell them.
I thought about it, but
hey,
we usually tell all the munchies what we're eating, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to
if
be
you're obligated. Yeah,
I feel
that's true.
obligated to tell you because we're gonna have to rate this afterward.
Yeah, but if Mountain Dew's listening, we'd be okay with. You
But
sponsoring
since
us.
it's just Mountain Dew Zero, this is why we have the great. I mean, come on, guys, don't you like this presentation?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the things that we do for our munchies.
Yes, yeah.
Anything.
Oh,
All right,
man.
let's get some candy.
I already ate a Snickers.
Wait, okay, so there's a candy in here that I saw.
Where is
That the new one. Oh, right
Oh,
here.
the
The
Nerds.
nerds.
Yeah, big chewy nerds.
So it's like little balls of the nerd ropes.
Yeah,
It's like mini ball versions of nerd ropes.
yeah. We thought we were getting into just the classic nerds, but
But no,
it was actually a
But
pleasant
honestly-
surprise.
better than regular nerds.
I agree.
I think so.
Because I'm not a huge fan of the regular nerds to begin with. I think the technology that they use by putting candy in a box, it's like getting a present every time.
That's true.
So I think that is nice.
I like
but-
box candies. Nerds, Milk Duds.
Oh yeah, Milk Duds.
We don't have Milk Duds here.
We're gonna have so much trash on here.
We've got Big Chewy Nerds, Snickers, Laffy Taffy variety, the little baby mini gummy bears, Black Forest
Yeah.
gummy bears, M&Ms, Skittles, Sweet Tart mini chews. I've not had those.
I haven't
don't
either.
think.
Did you ever
isn't
when
there
you're
another chocolate thingy?
peanut M&Ms?
Peanut M&Ms?
Oh, you already said that.
No,
Yeah,
not yet.
Twix.
I think that's it. Twix.
Yeah.
I think that's
Snickers.
everything.
Yeah.
We got a decent variety here.
Do you ever, when you're eating colored candies, separate the colors and then eat them?
I've done it before.
Yeah.
But honestly, at this point, I might just take my headphones off.
Okay, go for it. I can hear you loud and clear.
But I won't be able to hear myself.
But really, who doesn't like candy?
Yeah, this is going to be actually maybe one of the most difficult food ratings that we've had.
Yeah.
Because there's part of me that just wants to say 10 out of 10 candy. But then I'm like, but is it though?
I mean,
I will say, I have always considered myself more of a savory man than a sweet man. And so if I'm at like a buffet situation, I'm one to get another plate of savory food than I am to get a dessert. So it's like, it's a dessert time. Nah, I'm skipping that. Give me another plate of lo mein and General Tso's chicken
here's a thought.
rather than dessert.
Here's a thought that might sway your decision or thinking. If you have a bowl of something savory while you're just walking around and snacking stuff as opposed to a bowl of some candies, what are you reaching for first?
A bowl of savory? Wait, I'm confused by the question.
Like a, I don't know, a savory snack that you see. Are you going savory snack first or candy?
Probably savory snack first and then trailing it with some candy.
So
Like a Cheez-It. I love a good Cheez-It.
that's true. Or like a Dorito.
A Dorito.
Not a sponsor.
Can be.
Can be.
Hit us up.
If you want to, hit us up. So yeah, let's rate these.
It's literally just candy and Mountain Dew, people. I mean,
There's,
I'm sorry to spoil the illusion for you guys, but we're living in the 21st century here. We're not in the 1800s. Or no, what year are the witches from? Like the 1300s. No.
yeah, it's 300 years. And then, I don't know.
So it'd be like in the 1600s.
Mm-hmm.
Because this movie came out in the 90s. Late 1600s.
1993. All right, rating.
Oh, wait, shoot.
You want me to give mine?
All right, same time. 3, 2, 1, boom.
9.5.
Wow, that's your highest food rating.
It is.
100%
Because
your highest food
I
rating.
love Mountain Dew Zero or Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
I know we've had this conversation before, you and I before. And I just like I mean I don't eat candy like every meal. Obviously, that's terrible. But I like candy.
Yeah, I like candy too. But as I was saying, I'm more of a savory man than a sweet man. But I do love a good candy on occasion. I got very excited about the mini gummy bears in here because gummy bears to me, they are a candy, but I feel like they're, I don't know, they don't feel as candy-y to me. So they're a little bit more appealing, not just straight up sugar, even though they mostly are.
Yeah, it's probably more sugar than all of these.
Yeah.
You get the savory of the peanuts and the Snickers.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't had any chocolate yet.
Yeah. But
this is a great episode for us.
I love it. We're gonna
Your
have
highest food rating. That's
yeah
impressive. It's definitely not. I don't think it's my highest food rating at 8.0.
Wait till you see the movie rating. Ooh.
I am very curious about your movie rating.
We have
I have some things to say about this movie.
Okay. Well, let's go in. Do you want to explain it or you want me to explain it?
I'll explain it.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I just watched it.
Yeah.
Oh, you watched it too.
Yeah, we
you
watched
did
it.
a rewatch.
Yeah, we both did a rewatch.
But it was the first time for me.
It.
So there's these three witches, the Sanderson sisters from the 1600s. They are witches during the time of the Salem witch trials. And then they get hanged at the beginning of the movie. But she has some sort of spell on this candle that, if it's ever lit, will bring them back to life. Fast forward 300 years.
Yeah, it has to be lit by a virgin, I think, is one.
Yeah, first of all, which is a really weird thing, I feel like.
That was already weird, yeah.
But anyway, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Anyway, that distracted me. Now I'm thinking about that. Anyway, they get brought back to in the 1990s of this kid who is new to town.
Who's
new to town. Who is a virgin? That is a very important detail in the movie. He's like, what, 14, and he's a virgin. Yeah. Great. Thanks for that information.
And him and his family are from out of town. They're not even
from
friends,
L.A. Yeah.
So he doesn't know about the whole history that the whole town
the Sanderson sisters. And he's a doubter and doesn't believe that they're a real thing.
Yeah.
Or at least that they were real witches. It would probably be documented that they were real people and that when they were killed, but he doesn't believe in the witchiness. And then so he goes to the abandoned Sanderson sisters' house.
Which is, at that point, I think more of like a museum.
Well, it was a museum, and then the museum closed too. Yeah. So in his abandoned house, that turned into a museum that now is an abandoned museum house. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like is an unnecessary layer that needed to be added.
I agree.
To that, but I digress. Man, these headphones. So anyway, you know,
something's got to go. There you go.
I'm not taking the hat off. I'm sticking by the hat.
There you go. I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. So, and then so anyway, the Sanderson sisters come back to life, and they're these evil witches that want to suck the souls out of children. And so the entire movie is them chasing down these kids to get their spell book back. Mm-hmm. So that she can make this said witch's brew that we have here recreated to its full form. And I just burped in the mic. I don't know if you heard it because I don't have my headphones.
A little bit. It wasn't that distracting.
It's the witch's brew.
Yeah.
And then so anyway, they're chasing these people down, and the what's the main witch? Winifred.
Yeah.
Specifically wants the little girl Danny and suck her soul out.
Yeah.
Because she was mean. Danny was mean to the witch and called her ugly.
Yeah. Such a petty way to get back at her.
Yeah, but anyway, and they're just, they're supposed to be evil witches, but they're also supposed to be kind of silly and funny. And
they also don't know much about the new world because they've been dead for 300 years.
Yeah, it's kind of like a...
So, like, some things they're just like, like being...
what's going on here?
Super oblivious to it.
And actually, I'll just get into the hot take. Right now.
Spicy take? Okay.
I always say hot take.
Yeah.
But it's spicy take.
Okay, go ahead if you want to.
My spicy take is that this movie was not good.
You want to know something?
What?
That was going to be my spicy take.
We didn't talk about this beforehand. I did not like this movie.
Yeah, this movie, and like I said, I saw...
But you suggested this.
No, right. Well, because I thought when everyone talks about Halloween movies, you're like, oh, you should watch Hocus Pocus.
Up there on the list.
You should watch blah, blah, blah. And then, so when growing up, like, quite frankly, I've only seen this once or twice, and I was young when I saw it. Mm-hmm. So, viewing things as a kid, and I honestly don't even know if I watched it from beginning to end until
Yeah.
last night.
And it's a Disney movie, so it's meant for more kids and maybe young teenagers. But
yeah, but I mean,
it's
up until that point, Disney had already been creating like good, funny, wholesome kids movies.
Yeah.
So there was already that bar that Disney had created. And then when people saw this around the time it released, and they're just like, "Oh, this is the best Halloween movie."
Because it's
so
a little
funny.
bit edgy too.
Yeah, everyone, and so every year people are like, "Oh, I got to watch my Hocus Pocus because Halloween time."
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
I have heard a lot about this movie.
Yeah,
I have some people I know. It's like one of their favorite Halloween movies.
yeah,
and it's just like, and I've seen a number of Halloween movies, and I'd never seen this one, so I was curious. I was just like, oh, okay, it's a very popular movie. It still has huge cultural significance.
yeah. And you
the
go
second
in
one
unbiased.
the second one just came out recently.
Yeah.
So it has more cultural significance now than probably it did 5 years ago because the new movie came out. And so I was like, okay, maybe I give this movie a shot. And afterward, I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, and the second one could have been maybe Disney's attempt to just kind of revive, because I know they've been kind of in a slump of of quality, their movies.
But you know what's funny is that it's pretty unanimously agreed that Hocus Pocus 2 was a way worse movie than the first one.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like,
I didn't even see it, and I don't really intend on seeing it.
No, and I'm like, I just saw the first one. I didn't like it, so I don't think I want to watch
Well, it's kind of like it's kind of like, and a lot of films do that, where and this is probably a bad example, but the Meg, when and that came out with a sequel, and I was like, why?
Well,
why are they making sequels to movies?
That one in particular, it got a lot of money in the box office, and the first one got decent ratings.
And that's probably what it is. They base it off of that, and they create it. Even though you personally or whoever thinks that it's a bad film, they have the ability to do it just because of how much money comes in for it. And Hocus Pocus did that, even though it's what was that, 30 years ago?
Yeah, in the 90s.
And so for the sequel to come out, and so but I think, like I said, I think that was probably their attempt to say okay, let's throw out another sequel to this. All the actresses are still available to do this. Let's see if they're interested, and then they bring it together.
And from what I hear about the sequel is that it was very forced.
Oh my goodness, I bet.
And it was just it wasn't a natural progression of the story.
Yeah.
Because spoilers, if you've never seen the movie, the very end, all the witches die, the kids save the day. So on and so forth. Yeah. And you hit the button.
Oh, did I turn it off? Sorry.
Ooh, now it's changing colors.
Ooh.
Anyway, they saved the day, and woohoo, all the witches are dead. So I don't know how they brought them back in the second movie. It's not like she came up with another spell.
Yeah. I don't know, and I really don't
maybe
care.
she did. Yeah, I don't care either.
Yeah. And this is probably going to ruffle a lot of people's feathers. And
I hope I ruffled some feathers.
And they may want to turn this off by this time, because, I mean, as of right now, I'm just going to talk about more so
everything
asking
you didn't
questions.
Like about it?
Yeah, more so questions about what was the appeal about this movie. And you can, message us, let us know, tell us your part. What was the appeal about this movie?
It was very, I mean, it's still very popular as a Halloween movie.
Very much
Now, I understand, it being a Halloween movie, right off the bat, it's kind of a niche thing.
Yeah.
And so
well, it's kind of like if you have an example for Christmas songs, you have a Christmas song from the 40s that is still playing to this day because they are like, oh, well, it's a Christmas song. We have to have it on the radio.
And it latches on, and it becomes a tradition.
Right.
This is one of those movies as well.
Exactly.
And
they just kind of got on the coattail
of
the Halloween spirit, and so people are just like, oh, well, it has witches, and it's somewhat funny. And, let's just keep playing it every single year.
Somewhat funny, that's debatable.
Well, that's the thing, too. Someone described this, and this was just more research because I was kind of looking to see other people's opinions about it. Someone was describing the humor as inside jokes that clique friends have, where they'll say something and they'll laugh amongst themselves, but everyone else who's around them is just kind of like, okay, I don't get why you're laughing, kind of thing. And now having that in the back of my mind, I'm like, that is kind of the humor. It's just kind of like they're trying to make some things like things here and there funny, but it's like only to people involved.
Yeah, it's weird. There's some. There are a few things in the movie. There are a few things in this movie I enjoyed.
Name
one thing I enjoyed. There are two scenes that I'm going to name that I actually was like, okay, this is kind of funny and quirky and whatever. The one scene where they're in the party and they're trying to get their parents to like tell them what's happening and they're not believing them, and then the witches put a spell on all of them to dance until they die. I thought that was kind of funny, and the little musical number that they do is charming, and I was like, okay, that was one redeemable part. And the only other part, this is my hot take. One hot take. I know we talked. This is my second spicy take is that the only funny character in this movie was the bus driver.
Oh yeah,
because the bus driver, he is sitting there and then he sees these ladies dressed as the Sanderson sisters and then immediately starts crushing on them and says that they're most beautiful.
Well, the one at least, the sister.
Yeah, but he's saying they're all pretty ladies. Get in here, and he starts being a little like weird with them. And then one of the Sanderson sisters ends up sitting on his lap as they're driving the bus. I just thought it was so stupid in his character. The fact that he's like just this way, I just thought was funny.
Yeah.
And it was probably one of the only parts that I laughed in the movie. I'm not even joking. And I don't want to be mean about this movie because I went into it blind, knowing literally nothing about this movie. And I kind of wanted to enjoy it because I'm like, this could be a fun family like Halloween movie that I could watch with my kids one day. But after watching it, first of all, there's some weird things that are namely the important detail that the main character is a virgin that is mentioned multiple times. It's like, that's unnecessary for this 13-year-old boy.
Right, yeah. And if it's a kid's movie, you're kind of like, oh, what's a virgin? You know?
It's like, that was not necessary.
Right.
Because it was like, the candle had to be lit by a virgin on Halloween night.
Right.
And then he lit it. And I guess the joke is that he lights it. And then, like, he was trying to play it off like he's cool and he was going to light it and it wasn't going to work. And then it worked. And then the little sister's like, he's a virgin.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess that's the comedic relief.
Yeah.
Is that he was trying to act cool to his crush when they were there. And then it turns out being a virgin, but I just found it weird.
Yeah, no,
and
I
then
agree.
I think they could have just said that it had to be lit by a kid, like a child, on Halloween night or something.
Yeah. But
I don't know. Or someone, or lit by someone who like is in love on Halloween night or something.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
something like that.
Because there was like the whole thing about his crush, his new crush since he's new in town. Anyway.
Yeah. No, it just, I don't know. Just the whole time, you and I actually, we fell asleep at the end. I mean, we didn't watch it together, but we told it.
We were cuddling.
We just
and we ended up falling. No, we were both watching it last night.
Yeah.
And you texted me and said you're watching it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm about to start it.
Yeah.
And then I fell asleep with 15 or 20 minutes left of the movie and had to finish it this morning.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I fell asleep towards the end just because I was done with it.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's because we didn't watch this every Halloween, so this isn't one of our traditions.
Yeah.
But I imagine you can pick so many different Halloween movies, you know, and maybe at the time that wasn't like really an option. But I mean, I don't know. I'm actually very, you know, kind of speechless on, you know, why is this have so much popularity?
Yeah. Because it very much feels like a Disney Channel movie.
Yes, yeah.
Is it a Disney Channel movie?
It's not.
Okay, but it is a Disney movie, I know.
It is, yeah.
But it feels like the acting and the production feels like a Disney Channel movie.
Right.
But in all the worst ways, because there are some Disney Channel movies that are decent.
Yeah, yeah.
But, like, I don't know. One thing in particular, the most bearable character out of the three witches was the main witch for me.
Oh, really? I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, really?
I was going to say she was the most unbearable for me.
Well, I think part of her character is that she's annoyed with the other witches.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I 100% agree with on her part. The other two witches, they just annoyed the crap out of me.
Yeah.
I just hated whenever they were on the screen and whenever they tried to make a funny, quippy line.
Yeah.
It never landed. I never found it funny. It was just straight up annoying.
Yeah.
And so Winifred's annoyance with the other two witches, I understood.
Yeah.
And so that's why I kind of found her more bearable as a character.
That's fair. Yeah, and their jokes, you're exactly right. They didn't land, and they really tried to. You know, the whole thing about the one sister being able to smell children, which is weird in itself.
That's weird. And she's trying to figure out what child and their age. And
then the other sister who's like, I'm the hot one, so I'm always going to talk about references
I'm
of
the
why
hot
I'm so
one.
hot.
That's my personality trait.
Yeah. It's just
I'm
like,
going to sit on the bus driver's lap.
Yeah. It's like, all right.
All
like,
right.
Okay, I guess that's funny to little kids who are watching this.
And
like,
then,
that doesn't make any sense.
And then Winifred is, I'm evil and want to eat children for no reason.
Right.
It's like, what's your motivation other than just being a witch from the 1600s?
Because usually,
I mean, I guess they want to stay young, but I don't know.
Because usually these types of movies have some kind of endearing trait, even if you're the bad person. You know, like even if you're deemed as the bad person, you still have some kind level of likability with a Disney movie. You know, or like
or at least some things are understood or like justified in a way, like you understand motivation.
Right. Yeah.
And they're not evil for the sake of evilness.
Right.
Not always.
But this really didn't have it. I mean, they're witches, but like, you know, and there wasn't much history. They talked about their mom a little bit. They talked about when the guy was dressed up as the devil, as like that was their master.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, you know, they're evil, but like even still in that.
And then she was talking about how I've actually been to hell. It's a nice place. And like things like that.
Yeah.
It's
just
like
okay.
she's just, it's also confusing the lore in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to get into that too heavily, but like some things just don't make sense like that. Like, how have you been to hell? I mean, I guess she died.
She was dead.
That's
yeah.
right. She
That's
was
why
dead for
she was
300 years. That's
yeah.
why.
That's
but
why.
I don't know. There's still some things about the movie that's just kind of, and it's so funny because we did not talk about this at all. I had not seen the movie. He had not mentioned to me anything about this other than he's like, hey, we should watch Hocus Pocus and do that for the episode for the CineBites. I said, sure, I've never seen it before.
Yeah. And
then
like
we
I
come
said,
in
it had
here
been a
and
while.
we're fully agreeing.
Yeah, that it's just not good. And you have to give it some kind of, a grace in a sense for some of the actors and actresses because they are younger, so you can't really harp on them too much for being bad.
Yeah, the kids didn't bother me. The kids acting just seemed like your typical, once again, Disney Channel movie acting.
Yeah, but the
witches...
right, and Bette Midler, has been, in the past, I would say, more of a respectable actress. And so maybe this was just one of her things to, appeal to like kids audiences and stuff. And she's not, I mean, the name is definitely more recognizable in Hollywood as, it's Bette Midler kind of thing, because being in the First Wives Club and stuff like that. But but this role just made her just even more silly. And I know they had to be silly because that was the quirk of it, but I don't know. I just didn't get on that train of like, oh, this was a great movie. Because honestly, unless someone brings it up or it's on in their background of their house, I'm never gonna watch this movie again.
Nope, I won't.
I have no interest in it. And like even
I feel kind of bad. Like we're just hating on this.
Well, this
the whole time. But honestly, I don't feel this way about a lot of movies.
No. And I
usually don't. I mean, as you already know, you're watching. If you're a munchie, I rate things pretty high pretty often. And I enjoy most movies.
I think you have to understand, too, that, we're not always going to pick movies that, we're going to be all for. Because I feel like all the movies we have picked are ones we like. So you have to throw some in the mix.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You have to throw some in the mix that are going to be, ones that we just have
are okay or just bad.
Yeah. So I mean, and obviously if you like this movie, I mean, that's totally your opinion, and we've talked about this before. But I mean, I just
don't understand.
Yeah,
I think the one thing that makes sense to me as someone, or if someone likes this movie, is for the nostalgia factor.
Oh yeah,
because if you were growing up in the '90s, this movie was huge. 1993. This movie was big, came a Halloween classic instantly, and as a kid, I could see this being enjoyable.
Right.
But now it's just become this Halloween classic that everybody watches, kids, teens, and adults alike. But I'm like, as an adult, I'm watching this going, I'm not getting very much enjoyment out of it. I found myself spacing out in the middle of it.
Right.
I'm not really laughing other than the bus driver scene.
Right.
But I was mostly just laughing because it was just dumb. Not dumb because they meant it to be dumb, just dumb because it was just straight up dumb.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was funny.
But I'm even trying to see, and obviously, I mean, I'm older now, so I don't know, what kids are necessarily looking for. Maybe in today's day and age, with like what's popular on episodes or whatever. But like even as a kid, if I were to picture myself in the 90s when this was popping, would I even be enjoying this movie? Would I even think so? I don't know what appeal of it.
I don't know if I would.
Because I think there'd be more things that flew over my head with this movie than actually liking it. Like I don't know. It's just there's nothing in it that screams like that I would want to watch this. And maybe that's just me. I mean, that could be, but I mean, after you and I talking about it and seeing other reviews, I know I'm not alone on that.
I think the thing with this movie is that it couldn't decide whether it wanted to be a PG-13 witch movie or a PG Disney movie.
Yeah, it was really in the middle.
It was in the middle because there's moments like the virgin moment and the themes of hell and them getting hung, getting hung at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
and just different things like that. I mean, it wasn't ever, in my opinion, a scary movie.
No.
But as a small child, for this being a PG movie, there are some things that I'm kind of like, but it's not quite to the level where it's like fully an adult Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Like some sort of your other horror movies that are obviously aimed at adults.
Yeah.
I don't know what the audience
on the
is.
line. They didn't commit one way or the other.
I don't know what the audience is for this movie.
Yeah,
because it feels like the team of the kid actors feels like a kids movie.
Yeah,
because there's all these kids, these young teens, very small child, and this talking cat who was played by a child as well, like a teenager.
Right.
It kind of feels like a kids movie when they're on screen, and then the witches come on screen, and it feels like this could be a PG-13 Halloween comedy.
Yeah.
But the jokes don't land because they're having to cut it off at the PG rating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, but I still don't know if you were to jump this up to a PG-13 movie, if those jokes would even land, if they were able to stretch it a little bit further. I don't know if it would.
Right. Yeah,
I don't think it would necessarily hurt because this movie could get all the help it could get.
Yeah.
But you're saying, it's on that line, and I think because it's a Disney movie, but because it's Halloween, has its adult themes in it in a way that they wanted to go with that, but it's a PG Disney movie in the 90s, so they have to stay in a certain field of the jokes that they can make and the things that they can show.
Yeah.
And it never landed for me.
No. And I'm trying to think of moments where I was actually thought was funny. There is one
the bus driver?
Outside of the bus driver, there is one that I was just kind of like, oh, that would be a funny situation if it happened in real life, but at the same time, I'm not like rolling laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Was the part where they were looking for help and they got the police officer, and he's like, wait,
it was a police costume.
Yeah, and then they're like, so he ends up, he's like, they thought I was a real cop.
Yeah.
So I was just like, that would be kind of a funny moment, but even still, like, that's stretching it,
Yeah, I just I was going into this expecting that this isn't going to be like I'm going to be cackling, laughing the whole time. I never expected that. I expected some nostalgic, Halloween-y feeling, fall-time feeling vibes.
Yeah.
And maybe some funny, quirky moments from a children's Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm not one to judge. I like kids movies. I'll watch I'll watch Pixar movie, all Disney movies.
Oh yeah.
DreamWorks, all that kind of stuff. I enjoy those too. they can have their own funny moments or wholesome moments or real moments, but this movie just did not hit the bar on any of those things.
No,
it
not
tried
at
to
all.
have funny moments, fell flat. It tried to have moments of like at the very end he sacrifices his life for his sister, and it's like it never really hit home. I mean, it was a repeating theme throughout the movie, because at the beginning of the movie, the cat, whatever his name is,
what was it, Thackeray?
Something.
It's kind of like Zachary if you have a lisp. Well, I think that's who it was.
This boy from the 1800s,
yeah, Thackeray,
or 1600s, was unable to save his little sister, and then she died from the witches.
Yeah,
which is, first of all, the very beginning of the movie, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, they kill a small child.
Right. Yeah, I know.
It's like, what is going on
at the beginning
in this movie? And then they're just like, we're funny and quirky, and my mouth is sideways. I just wanted to punch her in the face.
I can smell kids.
I can smell kids.
All right, cool.
And then I'm going to kill a small child, and then we're just going to move past it like nothing happened.
Right, yeah. And then we're going to kill them like nothing happened, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So they deem this as a classic. You know, they're like, oh, yeah, you have to watch Hocus Pocus because it's a Halloween classic. It's like, I'm not seeing anything classic about this.
No.
Like, it's honestly, I mean, we're tearing this movie apart.
We are just ripping it apart.
But I'm really, and maybe that's just I don't know, just an attribute that I have. But like, and you know, and I think we both try to do this, but we really try to, you know, pull and see what makes that movie great, or why, you know, a grander, a larger audience would agree and say like, oh, this is good because of XYZ, you know, whether it has its cultural relevance, whether it has, you know, just flawless cinematography, or whether it has, you know, and so we really try to focus on that, and instead of the negative side of like, okay, what's the bad we can get out of this, which I'm doing better. I have done that a lot in the past. But with this, it's like, we're kind of the same thing. It's like, okay, if you're going to deem something as the greatest, you know, people do this all the time with anyone who's deemed the greatest. You want to say like, okay, well, I don't think he's the greatest, or that she's the great, or that's the greatest. And you start to pick it apart, you know? So with this, when you deem something as a Halloween classic, you're going to start to be more critical
with high
critical
expectations.
with it. Yeah, higher expectations, and you're going to be more critical about it right off the bat.
Yeah, because
everyone's like, "Oh, it's the greatest."
So funny. The witches are so iconic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, and I just, and I feel bad because I actually had high hopes.
Yeah.
I had no expectations. I literally knew nothing about this movie going into it. I knew that they were witches, but I didn't know that they were like considered like real witches from the Salem witch trials that came to the 90s. I didn't know if this was in like a Halloween fantasy world or if it was in the real world. I knew nothing about this movie.
Yeah.
So going into it, I was interested to find out what's going on, and I was never really pulled into the world of Hocus Pocus because it just
I wasn't either.
It didn't engage me in any way. It just felt bland.
Yeah, I agree. No, I mean, so
we
with
could
all
just
those,
tear this apart all day.
You know, with all those positive reviews
with
that
all
we've just said,
I
guess we could honestly just rate it now. And I mean, because I mean, there's really not much else that we can say about it. Okay, so let's do this, so we don't end on such a sour note.
Yeah.
What is the best thing about this movie that you would say?
That it ended. No, I've already said the best thing about this movie was the scene when they put a spell on them when they were dancing at that party.
Oh, yeah.
And the bus driver.
Yeah.
Those are I actually found those funny. I found the scene when they did the musical number. That's the other thing. There were just maybe one or two random musical numbers in the movie that felt out of place because they were few and far between. But at least this one, I was like, okay, this is kind of funny because at least it made more sense because they're at this party and there's a band.
Yeah.
And then the parents kept partying all night.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did they ever, at the very end of the movie, did that spell ever get stopped? Like when the witches died, did it stop?
Yeah, well, because you start to see the parents again.
Oh,
and
okay.
They're like meeting up with the kids.
I kind of wasn't paying much attention.
Yeah,
right,
at
the end of the movie.
that point,
I couldn't remember if the parents actually got out of it. It would actually be funnier if they never explained it and the parents were still in there. But
it was just the humor was just so. It was the quirkiness of it that wasn't even like a cute quirkiness.
No, it was an annoying quirky.
It was very annoying.
Especially, at least in my opinion, you have the opposite opinion, but the two kind of sidekick witches that were very annoying to me. And I know it was like part of her like character trait because it's definitely not anything wrong with her mouth, but like she talks sideways.
Yeah, she
which
does
is like
it on
her
purpose. Yeah,
like character trait, but it just looked dumb to me.
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense. It was never explained.
Right.
I feel like maybe they could have made a funny joke out of it by saying that when they were kids, like her big sister punched her across the face and stuck that way or something.
Right, yeah.
You could get a funny joke out of it, but no, she's just like annoyingly talking sideways, smelling children.
Yeah.
And made me want to punch the other side of her face.
Straighten her out.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, I had mentioned...
I need some candy.
I had mentioned that, the one was the police officer joke, but that wasn't even really a joke.
Yeah.
So I'm at a loss for what positive I would want to give to this.
Yeah, to me,
I guess one positive would be that this movie single-handedly, I'm sure there are several movies, single-handedly tricked people into liking it. They went in thinking about trick or treat. They didn't get a treat with this movie. They got a trick. Got tricked. And to believe that Hocus Pocus is an actual good movie.
Yeah.
So I think that is the, I guess, positive.
Honestly, this movie would have been better without the witches in it.
Yeah,
probably. I mean, I know it was literally the whole plot of the entire movie.
That was
but I feel like the kids, their acting was fine.
Yeah.
You know, the first, other than maybe the beginning when they're in the 1800s, the first part of the movie when there's this new kid in town and there's these bullies and he's trying to get used to things. That was just your standard, like, coming-of-age beginning of a movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it was bearable, and I said, okay, this could be interesting. Where is it going?
Yeah.
And as soon as the witches appeared in the modern day, it just started going downhill.
Yeah. You're
honestly.
just like, okay.
Because it was like, I don't know, there was like this mystery of like, okay, they're going to bring the witches back at some point. How is it going to happen? What are they going to do? You know, what is this kid going to do? And then once they got there, it just became... I don't know. In one moment, the witches are like these overpowerful beings that can shock you and lift you up and fly around. And the next moment, they're
the dumbest.
They're the dumbest people
ever.
And they get fooled by this 13-year-old boy, this 13-year-old virgin.
He's
not even experienced.
Right. He's like, because the part where he's like, where he says, you don't know about daylight savings time.
Yeah.
And they turn on the car lights, and those witches, who are these very powerful witches, think they're dying in that moment.
They don't know what daylight savings time is either.
Yeah.
Wouldn't they notice that that's just headlights?
Well, they wouldn't know what headlights are either, I guess.
That's true, but they've seen cars around
already. That's true, because, this is towards the end of the movie. Yeah. Just so many dumb holes
and
in
then
the
they're
movie.
laying on the floor going, that darn virgin tricked us again.
Yeah.
Literally, that's what she said. Not virgin, I added that part.
Yeah,
but that
basically.
darn boy tricked us again.
Tricked us again. I can't believe it.
We need to go eat his sister.
Yeah.
Like, okay. When they're just straight up stupid because Winifred's like, I need to get this girl because she called me ugly. Which was not the first time she was called ugly or the only time she was called ugly in the movie.
That's
from
true.
what I remember.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But she focused in on Danny, even though she has these two teenage boys already locked up in her house that she could have used to complete this spell.
Right.
So it's like, so you don't even care about this. You just care about risking your life just because you want this one little girl because you're annoyed at her.
Yeah.
One moment, she's supposed to be the sophisticated, smart one of the group of the witches. The other ones are supposed to be comic relief, not so funny comic relief, other witches.
So,
while the main one is supposed to be the level-headed one of the group. And
in a lot of ways, she's the dumbest.
In a lot of ways, she's the dumbest because they're like, the other witches are like, well, we have these boys right here. We could do it. And she's like, no, she called me ugly. We got to go get them. Yeah. And it's like, you have to be joking. Yeah. I feel like it kind of, I feel like it maybe, I mean, it wouldn't have fixed the movie, but maybe if they just took one of those boys and then did this spell, then the two then the kids would have to figure out another way to get rid of her.
Yeah.
Rather than just waiting it out until the sun comes up.
Right.
So,
yeah. So dumb.
I could just rip on this movie, and I didn't really going into it. I didn't plan on ripping it, but after I got done with the movie, I'm like, this did nothing for me.
Yeah. Then you start to look at the positives, and it's like, okay, as you can tell, our positives are very, very small.
Yeah,
we don't have many positives.
And it's not even about. I'm not huge on Halloween movies. I do like some horror movies. I'm not huge on Halloween movies, but it's not even necessarily that why I don't like it, because I like Nightmare Before Christmas. That movie I think is really good.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to think of some other Halloween movies.
Drawing a blank. I am too.
I don't know.
A little bit. Without horror movies, I'm thinking of more of the kid genre. But that goes back to us saying, maybe they found a not a plot hole, but they found a opportunity to put a Halloween movie.
Goosebumps with Jack Black. I think we talked about that when we were watching or when we were doing Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
I thought that movie was decent. I thought it was better than this one.
Right.
Oh, like the old Scooby-Doo movies, Addams Family, things like that.
So you don't really find a whole lot of Halloween movies, and that's probably why it's stuck around.
True. You don't find a lot of Halloween movies that are not adult horror movies.
Right.
Because there are a lot of adult, Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, literally Halloween.
Yeah, literal Halloween.
Like the Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, all that kind of stuff.
But an actual kids PG movie, you don't really have a whole lot.
You don't have that a lot.
And
there are some. Halloween Town.
That was a Disney Channel, I think.
That was a Disney Channel movie.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy, and now the Haunted Mansion, the new one, 2023, which I have not seen. And it is out now.
And would that be considered a Halloween movie, though?
It's technically not, because unless the new one takes place during Halloween. The old one with Eddie Murphy does not take place during Halloween time.
Yeah.
But it's got its spooky, haunted, feel.
True.
So people watch it during Halloween time.
Yeah, that's true.
Casper.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, actually, when I looked up kid and family Halloween movies, there's not a ton.
No, E.T. would technically be a Halloween movie.
That's true. That is on this list.
Halloween.
The Curse of the Were-Rabbit with Wallace and Gromit. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
One thing about that is I actually have. I don't think I've seen this. I've watched Wallace and Gromit other movies, but Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit has a 95% Rotten Tomato score.
Wow.
It gets a really good score.
Yeah.
People really like it, I guess.
Might have to check into that.
Maybe we do that next year.
Ooh. Well, let's go ahead and rate this.
We got some choices. Let's rate it.
I think we've picked it apart enough.
Yep. Now, so going into this rating right now, this is not the worst movie I've ever seen. That's for sure. But when we're on a show, when we are critiquing and rating movies, and I'm especially critiquey today because I'm wearing my movie critique costume.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to critique it, but it's definitely not the worst movie I've ever seen. So there's definitely other ones that I would rate lower, and maybe we'll get to that point. But this is now, you will see my lowest rated movie on the pod.
Yeah, mine too. You might be surprised with mine.
Okay, let me see.
2.5.
2.5.
No way. We didn't even look at each other.
This is hilarious. We literally got 2.5. What's the average on that? Can you do the math real quick?
2.5. Justified 2.5.
2.5. Wow.
That is wild. Because I originally was going to do it at 3.4, but then when you and I started talking about it more...
you realized you hated it more?
Yeah, I realized that,
Well, the funny thing is there are some movies, before we record a pod episode, there are some movies that we talk briefly about, like, we did Reservoir Dogs, and that's one of his favorite movies, so he's going to rate it high. We kind of know what we think of it going into this.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this movie. We just said, hey, let's do Hocus Pocus, and we were mainly focused on getting candy and decorations.
Yeah.
That we didn't talk about the movie at all until we sat down to do this.
That's true.
And the fact that we literally fully agree on the movie is actually pretty crazy, because I did not expect that.
And I do like that we did it that way. I do like that we
So we can stop harping on this and get into the Cinesnack.
Yeah, get into the Cinesnack. But yeah, we'll go into
let's get into the
Cinesnack
here.
I need to write it down.
As of yet, my streak is not great. But you've got to write down a movie. You already have one thought. I guess. And don't forget to think of 3 hints.
Oh, yeah, I need to do that. Hold on.
So if you want to show the people.
Let me write it down first.
I have not successfully guessed yet.
Today might be your lucky day.
Don't give me hope.
Well, I think the last time no, I've still been doing pretty good.
Yeah,
on a streak.
You've only guessed 1. No, only not guessed 1.
Yeah.
Thus far. And then, of course, the ostrich egg episode. That was...
oh, my goodness.
That was different, a different thing because it was a special occasion.
Okay.
And you still won that because I was bad at the cornhole.
Okay, I do have this, and I will show everyone. Let me also pull it up
I got my timer. Think of your hints. Let me get a little mountain. Let me get a little witch's brew to get me all fueled up. Oh, we finished off the brew.
Brew's gone.
The brew is gone. All
okay.
Right.
Let's see. And I got to think.
And you have a secret punishment as well that I don't know about.
Yeah. Let me think. I'm thinking of the clues.
Oh. Think of really good ones that give it away, please. I need every...
that give it away, yeah.
Please make it.
Okay, so I'm going to show the screen. I'm going to show them.
Okay.
So this is the movie. All right. And I'm going to get the timer.
Yep, I got my timer up.
Okay. Let's do this.
Ba-da-bup, ba-da-bup.
3, 2, 1.
All right, 90s movie?
Sorry, I needed to grab that.
Come on.
Yes,
okay,
90s.
90s, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an action movie?
No.
Drama?
No.
Comedy?
Yes.
Okay, a 90s comedy. Is it a male lead?
Yes.
Would you consider it one lead, or is there more of an ensemble?
One lead.
Is there a love interest in the movie?
Yes.
Hint.
Oh, hint. Teeth.
Okay. Is there any music in the movie?
Yeah.
Is it animated? I never asked that.
No.
Okay. Is there animals in the movie? Significant part with animals?
No, not significant part.
Is food any significance?
No.
Hint.
70s.
70s. So, it came out in the 90s. Does this movie take place in the 70s?
Parts of it.
Okay. Did I already ask, is the main character a child?
No.
Okay, but there is a love interest.
40 seconds.
Yep. Give me another hint.
Last hint, too.
Yep.
I don't want to
say it.
British.
So are they British in the movie?
Yes.
Okay. Man.
I feel like those were pretty good.
Is it a famous director?
No, I don't think so.
Is the lead a very famous male lead? Is he white?
Yes, he's white, and he is famous.
And is the female love interest also, is she white too?
Yeah, she is, and she's famous.
And
3 seconds.
Time's up.
Yep, time's up.
My time was up.
Oh, okay. I must have started.
I guess I was a little bit ahead.
That's okay. All right.
Oh.
You got all your clues.
And I feel like I have nothing.
Okay.
Teeth. British. 70s. I want to know if this movie came out a certain decade, but that'd be cheating.
What?
I wanted to
you
Google
asked.
Well, no, I mean, I wanted to Google the one I have in mind.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're writing.
No, they're not British. They're not British. I gotta retract it. They are not British. So it's British. Dang. I don't know any British movies. So a British comedy with teeth. from the 70s. Please give me a hint.
I'm not gonna.
You were about
I
to
feel
say
like all
something.
of those are still good clues. So, and
This
it'll
is
make
probably
sense.
nothing I've seen.
I don't know. I feel like
Dang it.
once I show you, you'll be like, oh, like it'll all come at you at once, and it'll make sense.
This sucks. I hate this game. All right, I'm just gonna. No, it's not that. It's not that. I'm at a loss. I'm gonna write it because I don't want to be here all day thinking.
All right.
Dang
Show
it.
us what you got.
I lost again. I guarantee it. Saturday Night Fever.
Nope. Austin Powers.
No.
International Man of Mystery.
Dang it.
Yeah. Does it all make sense?
It all makes sense. It all makes sense, and I'm not very happy with myself.
Because you were thinking a British movie, but it's actually an American movie. But the
Yeah, but I was just
character-
thinking of like British accents too.
yeah.
But
Yeah. So this is
dang it.
yeah. It's okay.
I'm bad at this.
So this is
And that is one movie I've seen. I should have gotten that.
Yeah.
Teeth.
70s British. So this is going to be the punishment, even though Hocus Pocus watching it was a punishment in itself.
That's true.
The
I have to watch it again. Is that my punishment?
No. I wouldn't put you through that torture. But there is a part in the movie where they TP a house. And
yeah.
so I'm going to TP you.
Oh, okay.
And hold on, I think I got
I just thought that was for you later.
what, this?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
no.
just kidding. I never saw it.
But actually, if you can do a cool edit, I'm just going to snap, and then you'll just have it all over you.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Snap.
And look at
Boom.
that. Look at that. Oh, it's on your
Okay.
microphone, too. Sorry.
Yeah, well.
I'm so fast at doing it
I'm
that
TP'd everywhere.
Yep.
Wow.
So-
Honestly, most of this episode, my functions were already not very great with this
All
hat
over.
and glasses and this jacket that's too small.
Yeah.
So the toilet paper, I mean, it's just making me warmer.
Oh.
It's like a big blanket on me.
There you go.
So anyway,
All right. Well, that's your punishment. So,
Does it
but
look-
like I said, the movie was a punishment.
does it look good with the hat?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it'll look great.
As long as I look good.
Oh, of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
no, it
I'm
looks
glad.
great. Yeah. Well, as we conclude this spellbinding episode of CineBites, where we've savored the magic of Hocus Pocus, or lack thereof, through the lens
Sure.
of film and food, we hope you've enjoyed this enchanting journey as much as we have. Just as spells and potions can enchant the senses, so too can the delightful fusion of food and film transport us to fantastical realms. Thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned for more cinematic flavors in upcoming episodes. Make sure to follow us on YouTube and Instagram, and hear our podcast weekly on all major podcast platforms. Until next time, bon appetit
and happy viewing.